Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. So I'm really happy to be able to talk to you all about my experience with making an AI whiskey. And I understand that not all of you might be in the whiskey world. You might be in the drinks world, so making beer or other nice drinks. But I'm going to talk, of course, from my point of view, and I'm sure you can translate it a bit into your part of the business. So thank you, John, for the introduction. I'm really honored to still be doing these fun things as making good whiskey, making good spirits. If I'm going to say something else, is that I've been so I've been making in the whiskey industry. I've been in here for 35 years. I say whiskey industry because that's mainly what I've been doing, but I'm dabbling with some other spirits as well nowadays, and other things as well. So I'm in Sweden. I'm the chair judge or chairperson of the Spirits Academy, and we are sort of taking care of the cultural part of the spirits, what has been in Sweden, drinking aquavit and stuff and everything behind it. So we're promoting good manners in eating and drinking and the history around it. And then I'm a contract blender nowadays. I was working with Mackmyra, as you might know, for many years. I was there for 18 years, and then I left them 3 years ago. And since then, I'm a contract blender. And that is so much fun. I'm not as seen as I used to be before because I'm more behind the curtains nowadays, which is really fine because it's just another way of seeing it. And it is really fun to be able to work with more producers and not to be tied only to one, of course. So I'm also helping producers to make spirit. So I have winemakers in my amongst my clients. So I help them start spirit production and everything around that. And that also is one other thing that I do. I'm together with Nancy Fraley, that you all know, probably. I'm holding the workshop blending and maturation workshop with the ADI in December. I did it last year, and I'm going to do it this year again. So hopefully there might be one or two of you who are interested in coming. And what else am I doing? I love collaborations, as John mentioned. I think some of the more interesting of my projects that I have had has been together with various producers of wine and rum and Calvados and so on, and beer. So I just love the collaboration part. That's really what is my thing. I love to do a thing together with others when it's like it's a win-win. That's really something that I like. And what else? I'm a judge. So I'm a judge and chair judge at various competitions in Europe. I've been to ADI a few times judging as well, before the pandemics, that was. And I also love traveling. So I take people around to distilleries mainly in Europe, I would say. I haven't done that in America or elsewhere yet. But drinks travel is something that I love to do. So that was a bit about me. And one of the big fun projects that I did with Mackmyra a couple of years just before I left them was I did the first AI whiskey in the world together with Microsoft and an AI company called Fourkind. And so this project led me to be, I was the mentor and the supervisor of it all because I was the expert. And since then, I've talked a lot about AI products in the drinks world. And I've held some keynotes, and I think it's really interesting. And I've had producers approaching me, wanting me to do an AI product for them, which I haven't done. But so it's really an interesting field, and now especially where AI has exploded all over the place. I'm sure you agree with me on that. Good. All right. Okay. So here's the presentation, and I just want to tell you that I'm I'm a blender. I'm a master blender, and I'm not a computer. Um, I'm not a computer engineer. So this presentation shows the whole thing from my side, but also from the engineerial part of it. So if I'm not able to explain everything that I have on this presentation, uh, um, I can get back to you about it. But just so you know that I'm talking from my experience, and I work together with the yeah, okay, I'm going to tell you everything now that I'm starting. All right, the future. Is this the future? Question mark. Um, yeah, who knows? I don't know if you know, I have done an AI product and I thought it was great fun, but I'm pretty sure it's not for everyone, and we'll come to that part later. So how do you make a drink or a whiskey? And I'm excusing myself for having the European spelling of whiskey here. I know the American whiskey usually is spelled with EY. Uh, and so there are very many ways to make a drink with AI, of course. But let's not go ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about everything from the beginning. And the machine learning, that's the word they use, the engineers. And the dram we did, the whiskey we did, it was me, and it was Jarno from Fourkind. He was the computer officer who put together the program. And then we had Microsoft behind us with all their resources. So I was the mentor, I was the supervisor, and Jarno was the guy who did the computer job. Um, and why would one like to do an AI product? One could ask. And yeah, I would not have thought about this myself, is what you're after when you want to do a product that is not thought of by you. You want to go outside the box, of course. The benefits of doing that, yeah, there could be a lot of benefits. You could have, like I was talking about, great collaborations with people. You can learn in new ways how to appeal to micro segments or masses, as it says here. I don't know what that would be in drinks. I think we know the people, like you and me, we know a lot about our business. And yeah, but anyway, you can actually learn things by working in new ways, of course. So finding new ways to serve other segments, small segments, and differentiating products. Create your own whiskey from a website. Interesting. Go to a bar that only serves unique blends by the glass. Yeah, I think there are already bars like that. But anyway, these are some of the possibilities. The learning features, yeah. Recipes. We're talking about recipes here. I mean, um, before I'm starting to talk about recipe, I want to say that a recipe is not the whole thing with with working with AI. A recipe could be that you use other type of um, ingredients, like other type of yeast, for example. So then the recipe is not like the recipe I have worked with. But recipes are complex. Ingredients can affect each other and not always be isolated, even if we use combinations. We can end up with two similar products, um, or we are not exploring the space outside current recipes. And as a drinks person, number three there, I would like to think that we already have been outside the space, but maybe we haven't. So who knows? Uh, the models for creativity that Jarno says here was we don't want to create what we already have. We need to examine possible recipe space that holds all variations. So we need intelligently limit that space, which is difficult. And we're going to look at how that is done later on here. We need to sample from smaller subspace and sample amounts from a subspace too. All right, so that is engineering talk. I will show how I did it. And we need to try what works against some critic. And that is the AI brain. And that is how the AI brain works. We'll come to that in a minute. So we need to do this many, many times. And that is the AI brain, the AI software, so to say. So what do you need when you do an AI product? First of all, you need someone who knows what they're talking about. So in this case, you need the blender. If you want to do an AI whiskey, you need someone who knows their stuff. You make the recipes with taste, sensory knowledge, and experience as a blender. All those things. And if you are a master blender, you have many years of experience. You have a lot of experience that you can lead others to blend as well. So together then, the expert and the machine. The expert curates data to be used. So what I did, I'm going to show it to you later on here. I gave away all my secrets to Jarno. Well, not all of them, of course, but like all my recipes written down. I had to give them all to him. And he put them in the computer. So his computer created recipes. And, that was the most time consuming of it all. Him putting all these parameters into the computer. And here is the process is shortened down here on this page. I curate the data to be used. He puts it all in to the machine. The machine creates recipes, and then I dictate what is going to be bottled. That's the short version of it. So what can be the goal then if you want to do an AI product? You will produce a new recipe, whiskey or not, that will eventually taste great with the following inputs. In our case, then we had 75 different recipes that we gave to the machine officer. We also gave the awards from competitions. We gave internal reviews and tasting notes. We gave user ratings from whiskey rating sites, and all the possible ingredients that could be interesting to have in the parameter, on the parameter side. So I was talking about all the different cask sizes I had. I had a 30-liter cask, I had the 50-liter, we had the quarter casks of 100 and 128 liters, we had the barrels of 200, we had hogsheads of 250, and some Madeira and sherry casks that were about around 500 liters. We were talking about first fill, we talked about new, first fill, second fill, used casks. And then we talked about the whiskey ages, all the ages around it, and then all the finishes, all the wine finishes, all the Swedish wine finishes that I had created. So the cranberry wine finish, the lingonberry wine finish, blueberry wine finish, the birch sap finish, etc. So all those and all those other parameters with the cask sizes as well. And then all the warehouses, like if you have different warehouses with different climate, of course, different positions in the warehouse, if you have different micro conditions in different warehouse rooms as well. And yes, so many parameters. So when you do, when you want to put weight as the weight that you want to be the most important one when you make an AI product, you decide together with the machine officer what you want to promote. So here you can have the examples. The awards can be 1.2 times. The customer reviews can be a little higher, 1.3. You can have the expert reviews be a little less important, 1.0, and brand 1.1 time. And you see this lovely picture here. This is one of the warehouse rooms down in the old Bodås mine where Mackmyra has their casks. It's a really cool place. Yep, so here we have all the different uncertainties, horizontal uncertainty and vertical uncertainty. This is more of the engineering jargon, I would say. But just to let you have an idea of how you weight in when you create this page. So recipe A has 0.8 in customer review, 0.81 in expert review, our own review, 0.82, and awards ratio, 0.80. And then the vertical uncertainty for all the recipes you see there. And I'm not a mathematician, how to calculate, but you would have to talk with a person who's helping you create this program, I would say. Here's a lovely graph of it all, which I don't understand much of, but probably someone of you who does. So what you do is you create this system, this software, this program, which is a generative system, and then you also have a discriminative system. So that is, I think, what AI is a lot about. You have two different brains who are chatting with each other and proving if it's good or not to each other. So here we have 100 casks on this picture. And after all the parameters I gave to the officer, his job is to pick, well, his job is to write down the recipe. My job is to pick which one to use. And the percentages will be up to 100%, of course. You know, the recipe A worked well with recipe B when you did it. B was not as well received as by the general whiskey community. Recipe A was also preferred by internal reviews. B was preferred in a few competitions, though. So, yeah, this becomes very theoretical for me when I'm reading it now. So for me, what I did was that I got all the recipes. I got all the recipes in chunks from the officer, and I got like, let's say I got 100 recipes in batch A. And in batch A, I could see that none of those were working because the brain had thought that smoky whiskey was extremely popular. So therefore, the brain had thought to put in smoky whiskey in all the recipes. And I did not want smoky whiskey in all the recipes that I was going to choose. So we had to make new parameters based on the overriding of that. And the second batch came out with 100 more or 200 more recipes, and we could then take away some more parameters, like the cranberry wine cask of 30 liter was not there anymore, or the 500 liter cask was not ready to be used, etc. So we had to fine tune all the parameters as we went along. And the machine learned more and more about our preferences. Yeah, this is a lot of talk. Not really my bag. Here is more interesting. The models that the AI brain uses, and the generator and discriminator, who processes everything really quick. So when the officer pushes the button to make new recipes, so 1,000,000 times a second or something, everything is being processed of what we have put in. So here you can see some of the process. The generator. Not the exciting part for me, though, but yeah. So when you do an AI whiskey or an AI product in the drinks, you want to, of course, augment. And the augmentation, the traditional augmentation, according to the AI officers, is sort of a bit saturated. Here on this unsaturated part, you have the complex machine learning with more strategic decisions, new pricing dynamics, perhaps, optimization, space robotics, reinforcements, learning, online learning, healthcare AI, smart AR and VR, and AI-assisted creativity. Yeah, sure. I'm sure people at the I don't know, marketing department or other departments above the producer work with these things. Definitely. Yeah, so in my case, in our case, I already had all the whiskey done. So we were not doing a product from, let's say, year one, ending up with a product on year 10, which could have been the case if we wanted to make the whiskey with new kind of yeast, for example. Then we would have followed through the process all the way until the end to see what kind of whiskey we would have created. So in this case, we had everything done. We had all the whiskeys in the warehouse, and we only wanted to work with the recipe part. And that's what Jarno and I did together then. So after I got, I think, 10 batches of recipes from him, I chose 5 recipes to work with, and how I chose them was, of course, did we have enough juice if this was going to be a big seller? Did we have enough age if this was going to be something that really became really popular? And how were the casks that I had in my hand in these recipes? So I created these test recipes from lovely casks that I had, and I presented it to the company, and then we discussed it, and then we did AI number 1, which was, as you can see on that picture, recipe 36 of that batch. And then we did I think we did 10,000 bottles in various batches. Yeah, so in this case, this was a hand bottled version that we brought on to the first release event in Amsterdam that we were at. And yeah, so in our case, then we had a lot of really nice publicity. Microsoft helped us a lot with that. I think in our case, we were the pet project of Microsoft for them to have a really popular consumer product to show that AI wasn't as strange or dangerous as people thought it was. And so we got a lot of press, I think like over 5 million hits, like we're talking about our whiskey. And it was really great. It didn't fly off the shelf of various reasons. One of them were that Mackmyra didn't have the whole distribution done, and Mackmyra didn't have the online sales yet. So that came just a few years after in COVID. So that was not so good timing then, you could say. You could but it was fun, and it was a great experience, and the product was well received. We had some lovely medals. I think we won a gold medal at the ADI competition as well in 19. That was the year it came out, and very good reviews. And yeah, so that was my experience with it. And I left Mackmyra 3 years ago, and so there was a bit of pandemics in between, and then I left the company and started my own, and they owned the recipe, the AI recipes that were that we sort of developed there, or I developed with Jarno. They own them. I still have them myself, of course, but they own them. But the fun thing was that they have released something after, and I tried it, and it was very remote from what I had in mind, or from the test samples that I had done with them. So that shows that it really depends on who's in charge, what you get out. Really so, yes. So to end this presentation, this can be used as an inspiration, definitely. I'm not sure how much companies in general are willing to pay for just inspiration in this sense, and how much it would actually cost to have an AI company create this for you. I don't have any idea of that, since we didn't work on that page. And but I would say, if you are a company that has a lot of resources, it can definitely be interesting to play along with. I also wanted to end this part with saying that when I went to Scotland during this process, I always go to Scotland to be part of judging together with Scottish master blenders. I really got the sensation that this was something that a master blender should not do. Because yeah, so we would be redundant. That's the word I think you use in English. You give all your expertise to a machine. And I guess that is the thing we are all afraid of when we are talking about AI, isn't it? But so my sensation from talking to other blenders was that this is really not something we should be doing. But my entry point in this was, it's so off the chart to do a thing like that for me. And since it was so new, I was very curious where it could lead me. So I just said yes because of curiosity, and that's the way I am. I like to do new, exciting projects out of curiosity, and I'm really happy I did. Absolutely. Would I do it again? I don't know. Can I be a consultant to someone who does it? Yes, probably in the drinks industry, not other industries. Yeah, so I think it's fun to talk about and to be around. I don't know if any of you have thought about doing it, or if you're here just out of curiosity, but it's definitely an interesting thing to be doing, putting all your knowledge into a project like this and see what comes out. Yeah, so um, that was it with my presentation. If you guys have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask them.
Great. So we've got a couple already. And by the way, everyone earlier, I said to put your questions in the chat. I guess that was not exactly correct. It's in the Q&A section if you're looking for how to ask Angela questions. But Angela, the first two come from Nancy, by the way. Hi, Nancy. She says, Angela, I'm curious if the technology also measures ester and basic conjugate content of the potential whiskeys. Is that something that you use and or analyze along the way, or is that part of the feedback for a particular blend?
We didn't use it. With Mackmyra, we did not use it. But if you are using it with your work, you will have that as a parameter.
Okay.
Is that good enough answer?
she'll she'll pop in here a second if not. Her the second thing that she had was does it differentiate the source? You were talking about the smokiness as one of the components and one of the examples you were talking about. Does it differentiate what the source of the smokiness present in the whiskey is? In other words, does it does it differentiate between a peated malt, the char of the barrel, or Nancy, you got a lot of faith in me being able to pronounce this chlorophenol compounds.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Well done, John. You pronounce it really
It,
well. The phenol
it does
content.
it does do that, is what you're saying. It
Yes.
does
No,
differentiate
no,
where
no,
they come
no.
from. Oh,
Well,
okay.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. So all the parameters that you have in your work as a master blender will have to be used, because otherwise you are not giving all the you will not have all the fine uh, distinctions, all the distinctions that you have. Like if you talk about the smokiness, if you have 7 different types of smokiness, some comes from the barrel, some comes from one type of peatiness, some come from other type of peatiness, etc. And the um, how you have, excuse me, how you have treated the barrels, what level you have charred them. So all those distinctions has to be transferred into the machine learning. Otherwise, it will be poorer than you.
So this is a bit of an oversimplification, but if I hear what you're saying correctly, you could more or less tell this amazing brain, more wood, more peated raw ingredient in the mash, more of a French oak finish, assuming that it had that ability. So could you kind of not only know but prescribe more of this, like you said, if you have 7 different sources of smokiness, is that something
No, no,
you can
that's not what I meant. What I meant was
okay.
well, good that you're saying it, but what I meant was that so the all the things that you are giving to the machine are the things that you want to have as parameter in the machine, because if the machine is going to be your alter ego, let's say it like that. So the machine will start off as AI Angela, or like my assistant. Let's say my assistant initially, and then all these parameters will be in there. But then you will also have to put in, as I showed you before, you will also have to put in all the medals, all the reviews, everything that everyone has said until up to this date about your whiskey and about all your styles of whiskey. So if Nancy will go to an AI company and say, okay, guys, I want to make my own AI whiskey, she would have to give away all her secrets, all her distinctions and knowledges, so that the machine can create all of those. And then together with what people have said about her, because in the end, it is creating something that is going to be a better Nancy or a better Angela. So it has to be not only her or my opinion about it, it has to be many other opinions as well. Otherwise, there's like not enough parameters.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
And I think um
And in the end, just to finish that, in the end,
sure.
of course, it is the expert who decides which ones of all these thousands and thousands of recipes that will be presented to you. So in the end, for me, it was like hundreds, no thank you, not fine-tuned enough, away. 100 new, not fine-tuned enough, away. New parameters in between, new parameters. And the last batch, all right, so I selected 5 recipes that I thought would be great to work with. And I still have all those recipes in my bag. I can still go back and look at them later on if I want. But it's me in the end. I chose the casks. I chose which of the recipe. I taste it. I put it together and I present it. So the AI is really a super intelligent assistant here who helps you create more of who you are.
Got it. Nancy has a follow-up and a of course, this is on Nancy's mind, but she says, can you train it to detect faults? So kind of you're eliminating faults when you say, 100 from this batch and they weren't quite there, and you're kind of putting your hand on that. But could you train it to avoid those from the outset? I think is what she's asking.
Uh, well, 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 perhaps in one way you can, because if you, well, sensory wise, no, of course not, because you are the sensor, you are the nose. So you are the mastermind telling the machine to give you all the basics to create new recipes. But if you tell the machine that those casks from 2001 that was bought from that distributor has shown faults, then you can sort of eliminate them in the process. But otherwise, the machine cannot, of course, not detect anything, because the machine only does its work on discriminating, generating together in the base of what you say. And then in the end, when you have, let's say that you have a particular cask that you really love from a particular year, and you can then sort of put that into the machine so that your preference will come out. I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
Yeah, yep. Switching gears a little bit, Travis Lee wanted to know, would you be nervous to put, a master blend that was all you against an AI generated or a AI, strongly influenced whiskey in a competition?
No, because I chose all the casks, because I chose which recipe to take, because the AI software isn't a human being. It's just a computer who has thousands of parameters from your brain, and it can certainly work out more parameters than your brain can, but in the end, it's only a super intelligent assistant, and you will always be the person with a nose who decides, even if you have given it, okay, these are the best casks, use them, you can still take them away and put something else in there if you want, because you are the one that decides. So no, I'm not, I might have been nervous before starting working with this, but when I understood the way it worked, I understood that it's a great assistant, but it's nothing else than that. And if you have a distillery and you want your master blender to go, because you have so many great AI recipes there, well, I will be feeling sorry for you, because you will need someone with a good nose to decide which casks to use, to develop more new casks, and to put it together and see if it's coming out right. Anyone who works with matured spirit knows that it's a very individual little bugger, a cask. So it can, you can put in the same batch like 10 casks from the same batch, and then you have them beside each other, and then after 5 or 7 years. You taste them and they are all different individuals. We know that. So you need someone, you need an expert to be in charge of this.
Personally, I think it's a really elegant description to call it a super intelligent assistant, right?
Yeah.
um, Next question: given the recent advances in commercial AI, do we think that this could be used as a matter of course moving forward? Like, do you think it? Do you see? I think what Louise is asking is, do you see this growing to be, is this a niche isn't the right way to say it necessarily, but is this something you think, and forgive me, Louise, if I'm projecting, but is this something you think the big boys are eventually going to tap into? Do you think they're doing that? Are they doing that already to a certain extent? I mean, you're talking about people with particularly whiskey, very extensive databases and
Right.
experiential databases and sweet spots and all of their rick houses and all the things that somebody
Yeah.
that just started to make whiskey last year will hope to identify over time.
So say the question again.
So the question is, do you, given the recent advances in commercial AI, that
Yeah.
AI isn't just something that helps you make a blog post, it's something that Kellogg's is using to determine whatever. I think what Louise is getting at is with AI having such a serious role in other big picture commercial advances, do you see, are we going to be drinking an AI helped Maker's Mark in 25 years?
Yeah, I think so. I think the big boys will definitely, or maybe are already, um, having that help. Um, that's my guess. I don't
Yeah.
know, but that's my guess. I think if you look at Kellogg's and if you look at Nike and if you look at um, yeah, like other consumer goods, they are already using it. Um, to create things outside the box, as we said. Uh, and in the whiskey business or like in the drinks business, definitely. If they already have big databases and this is something that could, help them get out more ideas. Because what you can do then is also, so let's say that I would have bought this um, software together with Macmillan. Let's say that we would have bought it, having all this information. We could then have continued to create more recipes on our own. We could also then have continued to I don't know, build a database which is like a cask database that we use when we are um, bottling, for example, or when we are just keeping track of everything. So that database could be included with the AI as well. So you can then you can work on it um, in a very creative manner. I know, for example, one project that the AI guys were talking about that I worked with. It was they had an AI project at one of Finland's northernmost airports. It's the airport where Santa Claus is living somewhere up there. And so they had like a real trouble on how to get everyone to land, because everyone wanted to come and visit Santa during a few weeks per year. And so they had like real logistical problems there. And they gave all their information to the AI guys, which created a completely new way of the whole logistic parts. And I don't remember it exactly right now, but it was beautiful. And from then on, they didn't have any problem anymore. So that was just a fun story. I wish I could have told it better than this, but there are very many ways that you, of course, can use it if you are if you have the money, of course.
Right. I think you covered this, but just circle back to it very, very briefly. But somebody wanted to know, if the machine has your recipe, you're saying it's still, I mean, if the machine has your recipe and you still have your hands in and your fingerprints on the project, it's still very much, you're you or is the whoever the buck stops with at that distillery, whether it's you as a consultant working with them or their master distiller or whoever's doing the blending for them, there's still the temperature check at the end with your own sensory gut check on,
Yes,
you
yes,
dial everything in as best you can and you go through
yes, yes.
trial and error. But yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So as long as there aren't machines doing that for us, I remember a few years back here at the Wine and Spirits Museum in Stockholm, they had a couple of machines where you could sort of, and I'm sure there are machines like that, but they're not as amazing as the human nose. But anyway, they had these machines so you could sort of have the help in creating an aquavit there. But as long as there aren't very diffused, I would say, as long as there aren't available on the market to replace the human nose and the human brain in the experience of putting this together, we will always be in charge. I hope.
Yeah, well, it kind of reminds me of, we also those early AI generated pictures that look like a great picture, and then you realize the guy has seven fingers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you don't want a seven-finger whiskey making it to market. You want somebody else double checking that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay, well, I don't see any new questions, so unless somebody wants to throw one up there real quickly, I guess we'll wind it down. And Angela, thank you so very much for giving us your time this morning and delving into this. I mean, everybody was really, as I said, all joking aside, including myself, really interested to hear more about this and for your livelihood. And Nancy actually asked this question too. We don't want to be replaced. I don't mind the super smart assistant. God knows I need a smart assistant, but none of us want to be completely replaced. And so it's good to know that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't think that's
I
going to
think
happen anytime.
no, 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 no. Well, who knows what the machines can, there will be more sophisticated uh, nosing machines in the end as well. I'm sure of that.
Sure.
But until then, we still rule.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, listen,
Yeah.
thank you again. What a great pleasure to meet you and to have you here.
Well, thank
And
you.
again,
Thank you.
your hands-on blending class. I should have this burned into my memory, but I don't. But give us a little um, pitch for that.
Yeah.
Where that's in December, right?
Yeah, that's in December. I think it's
Okay.
from 9. No, hold on. I have it here.
No,
Two seconds.
I can pull it up too. While I just didn't want to.
I have it here. I have it here. It's on the it's uh yeah, so it starts on Sunday evening, 8th of December, and it ends on Wednesday evening, 11th December. So it's a
Awesome.
three full days, 9, 10, 11, with a sort of welcoming dinner or something on the 8th, on the Sunday
Great.
evening. Yeah.
Well, it's on the website, but everybody that's on the call here, just so you know, I'll send a recording of this webinar out to you so that you have it. I'll also send you the info on Angela and isn't Nancy going to be there too, or is it
Yes,
just yeah
Me and Nancy, we're
yeah?
gonna be there.
So we have the Double Trouble whiskey expert blenders in December, but I'll send that link out to everybody so that if you're interested in
Yeah,
coming, you don't have to hunt around for it. I'll send that to all the attendees who signed up for the webinar.
good. Yeah, and if
Thank,
someone has a question, any other question, you can sort of direct them to me. It's not a problem.
all right, perfect, perfect. Well, thanks to you, Angela, so much. Thanks to our members and our attendees for jumping on here and I hope everybody has a great rest of the week.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you for your kind assistance. And thank you, everyone, for joining. And I really hope, we'll meet in Texas in December with a few of you.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.